Hey guys, this is Chance Casey with Chance Casey Real Estate Group, and today I'm going to be talking about disclosures. So, the way that you keep yourself from getting sued as a seller. So, when you're listing a property, you want to include your disclosures already with the listing. So, typically there's a documents tab that realtors can see in the multiple listing service. And the disclosures that you as a seller want to provide to a potential buyer or the realtor that's helping that potential buyer out up front is going to be the seller property disclosure statement, which is like a 9-page document that has all these questions about the actual property that you may or may not have thought about, right? It has stuff like, has there been termites at the property? What type of piping is there? Have you done any work to the property? And it's for you to make the buyer aware of what's happened with the property. And as the buyer, nice little trick, right, is if you're looking at that 9-page form, you want to look at the column that says yes. And if there's anything that's checked yes as the buyer, while you're looking at it, that is something that they are aware of that's a problem. And it's something that you need to take a look at and you need to address. That is the fast way to read it as a buyer, right? Now, as a seller, you want to be completely honest with all of that because you don't want your next door neighbor to come over and be like, oh, what did you guys end up doing about that mold situation that, Jeff was talking to me about that just sold that property to you? Well, that could be a big issue for you, and you want to make sure that you disclose everything and that you're completely honest in the seller property disclosure statement. Another form that you also want to have in there that's part of the residential purchase contract that you do have to provide to the buyer within a couple of days of actually getting the contract accepted is going to be the claims history report, or CLUE, as we like to call it in the real estate world. But some insurance agents don't know what we're talking about. So it's called a CLUE though, and it's basically the claims for the property for the last 5 years. You want to provide that with the seller property disclosure statement. And then in addition to that, there's some specific disclosures that have to go per property based off of what the property entitles. So if it was built before 1978, you have to have a lead-based paint disclosure. If the property has a solar panel on it, then you have to have what's called a solar disclosure. And you typically will do something called like a solar addendum for the buyer, which is purchasing it. You'll also want to typically have the last 12 months of utility bills. Now, this isn't a required one for the residential purchase contract, but I will say that more often than not, when a person is looking to purchase your property, they are concerned about how much the heating and cooling is. So giving them that up front will just speed up them making an offer on your property. Especially if you have solar, you want to kind of show them how much that solar is benefiting you. But those are pretty much the 3 or 4 major disclosures that I would already have in the multiple listing service. That way the buyers have most of the answers to their questions already answered so that they're not bothering you on a Saturday and, taking forever to put an offer in. So, but yeah, anyways, this is Chance Casey. Thank you guys for taking a couple minutes to go over what you as a seller should have in the multiple listing service to disclose to potential buyers about your property. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day. And if you have any questions on that stuff, just give me a call at 602-525-5502.